A week after Azimio la Umoja wrote a letter to ICC complaining, or rather reporting, William Ruto government about how they handled protesters in the last mass action, ICC issued a warning. And it is a warning that, according to me, has a deeper understanding. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the bold analysis. Azimio la Umoja wrote a letter and they were calling for the International Criminal Court, ICC, a court where Kenya is a member under the Rome Statute, to investigate, number one, the systematic, or rather to investigate Inspector General of Police Arrest-Uhuru Koome for allegedly coordinating systematic killing and maiming of the protesters in the protests that were being organized by the Azimio coalition, and they wanted the ICC to investigate matter and maybe hold those leaders accountable in conformity to the Rome Statute. Number two was talking about banning of the protests, and this protest was in the light of the fact that it is a right under the Constitution and even under Rome Statute. So it was contravening the law by banning peaceful protests. The other thing was attempted assassination of the opposition leader by saying, the 7 bullets. And there is something I want to explain to you. Radio Dinga communication team is very systematic. I want you to watch, there is a video, and I think that is the video on your screen now. This video is a video that Raila explained how his vehicle was, almost bullets were sprayed there. The media house that covered that was the Voice of Africa. So it was an international media house, exclusively. That's the media house that covered it, not even the Kenyan media. And then it actually amplified the question, and that story was aired in BBC, I remember. So, ICC prosecutor Karim Khan, who was actually William Ruto's personal lawyer at ICC, have confirmed that he has received the letter from the Azimio la Umoja wing, and is considering, is going to make a decision on whether to proceed with the investigation that has met threshold. But it is something that has sent shivers down the spine of these leaders, because many have been dismissing Raila Odinga, that he does not have the influence, or that he is not favored by the international community, that he's just a man that has been confined here. But I want to agree with those who say that you can despise the personality of Raila. You can go to a rally and say the way he sleeps in a rally. But you cannot trap the fact that Raila Odinga is an institution. And I think the name is a big name, even outside the country. Kenyans who live outside can give a test to this, can really confirm this with me. So, in what they're supposed to do is that they must do thorough analysis. And this analysis will also call for investigation. Now, allegedly, ironically, those who are accused are supposed to investigate themselves. Now that's where it can work. But someone says that saying we are going to do investigation, or rather acknowledging the receiving that letter, is number one, saying that if someone was, maybe that letter was, the state can always find its way of making sure it's not done. If that letter was not being pushed there directly, then it has gotten there. The acknowledgement of receiving it also tells a message to the accused that we are watching you. We may choose not to investigate you or not, but we are watching you. And when I received this information, I just wanted to know, and there's a question that emerged. If that's the first letter, then I want to refer you back to 2 letters. In 2017, there was a letter that was written by Norman Magaya to ICC, who was the ED of Executive Director of NASA, complaining about such illegalities against protesters back then in the wake of that mandamano, of the protest during Uhuru Raila duel. And there was no single response, not even saying we acknowledged. So it has been there. And of course, analysts or other experts say that this is a warning to the Kenyan police and those who are really being accused, or rather to the Kenyan government. It's a warning to them of that we are seeing what you're doing. But the fact that they are responding means they're paying a lot of attention to this. Now, in the run-up to this general election, this 2022, even Kenya Kwanza wrote a letter to ICC. And even recently, they wrote a letter to ICC. They wrote a letter complaining about a rigging scheme. By then, there was no response because ICC deals with the acts against humanity. Even recently, there was another letter for them to investigate Raila Odinga for destruction of property, but there was no response. But the fact that there is a response of acknowledging is already a message that they are trying to send there. So, I want to look at the red flags, the panic, and why the court is saying, now enough is enough, we need to look at. Before that, I want to say thank you very much, as I do in the last video of our fundraiser. This is the last video making the mention. I'm doing it in the midnight. This is Saturday night. We really said we were going to complete it. So Sunday I'm going to do video late night. But then this one is to say thank you for those who supported us. This is the last video. For those who had planned to donate, the deadline is Sunday night. So kindly, you can play your part and we'll be grateful to help that family get a motorbike. I believe and I trust God that come Monday, Stephen is going to get a new motorbike, so that he can support his family. And for those who are not privy to that fundraiser, we've been fundraising for Stephen and Mercy. It's a young couple. The husband delivered. There was some complications. The bill became more and ballooned, and he was locked in hospital, Kenyatta. Then we're doing fundraiser for her release, which was around 80,000. Then because of that, the husband was actually at home and could not work. So also lost the job. We decided, why not do a small fundraiser for the motorbike so that the husband can get also a way to feed the family. So that's what we've been doing the last 1 week. Asanteni sana. I believe I'll come back here on Monday with an update about that. Now, there is the first red flag. The tribal card that Inspector General of Police pulled, I think, is something that might have really worked against him. And I wanted to listen to his statement about why he was being taken to ICC.
The general ameambiwa atapelekwa mahali fulani. Kunaye mwanasiasa ndiye anachochea maneno. Na sijui kwa nini mara ya kwanza alianza na mumeru mwenzangu anaitwa Mudhaura. Akasema aende huko. Ameenda kwa Koome. Sijui Wameru wamefanya nini. Sasa imeanza kuwa ni mambo ya ukabila. Wameru wanarengwa. But we shall not be intimidated. Kazi yetu tutafanya. Wanasiasa wafanye siasa. Mimi si mwanasiasa, sifahamu siasa. I'm a policeman na jukumu langu naelewa vizuri. Kwa hivyo mambo ya kugawanya watu kwa kikabila, ati huyu ni Mwameru alengwe, huyu ni nani alengwe, hatutatisho. Niko na marafiki wengi kutoka kabila zote. Kule Ujaluoni nimeenda mara kadhaa, iko mandana zangu wameolewa huko. Hii mambo ya ukabila tuwache. This intermarriage, sisi zote ni ndugu, ni dada. Tufurahie kuishi. Lakini nitasema ya kwa leo.
Now, that was some ethnic, you know, in 2007, part of what triggered that stupid act we did, we are all responsible for it, was ethnic profiling. Ethnic profiling. Now, when you pull the ethnic card, it is something that even a prosecutor, you know, we are in a digital world, they look, they see everything going on in this country. And I understand they've also been following, you know, they don't just investigate after it happens. They were they're normally in this country. And I remember a team was dispatched last week to look at what's happening here. So, the tribal card is normally one that caused ethnic profiling in 2007. And I think this is one of the signals that what's happening in this country is not really right. The other thing is the ICC court is paying a clear attention, is really paying attention to the Kenyan development because remember Ruto is the president and Ruto's want their guest. And the case, according to the records, is that it was never closed. It was just insufficient evidence. So that means if it can be opened, if evidence can be got, it can be opened. But I don't think it's linked into that. But what that means is that the name is already soiled there. So anything that will touch into his government and a case that will come and again blaming William Ruto's government, it's already a red flag that, okay, because we've always, this person was once accused here but was relieved of those accusations, he could have remained in the black book at the ICC. So that's why they're paying attention that, okay, this has ever happened, we have a history, and the president has a history to this, we cannot let this go. The attack on media amplified brutality and because state unleashed its raw power on the civilians. That's what happened. Unleashed raw power. You know, there is that trending video and that trending photo of a police officer lobbing tear gas inside a car. No protester is there, and there are videos of how journalists are attacked. So at the international scene, at the international stage, this is causing a lot of trouble, and I know they amplified because that story was carried in the international media, and it really, the way international media carried those protests, reported those protests, really depicted a crisis that, of course, we were in some sort of a crisis. So this is something that you cannot really undermine. The Sudan mess is a signal of how African leaders are selfish in quest for power, and maybe I'm also not a very strong advocate of this court maybe solving our problems. You need to solve our problems here, but then we don't have the goodwill. So sometimes we need the big people to force on us. Someone told me a very wild card. Could Ruto secretly aid this move for the ICC as a strategy to tame the loose tongues that are igniting his fire in his camp? What do you think? Someone told me the state is fully behind this ICC move. Ruto could fully, because even the prosecutor was his personal lawyer. So if it's not against him, then it is for him, then himself is affected it. There is also another school of thought that could be Uhuru Kenyatta is behind the ICC move. But then, there is something you need to understand. The Emir Khan, Karim Khan, was the first prosecutor to be elected. The Luis Moreno Campo and Bonsuda were actually picked by consensus. But for him, there was no consensus in respect. So maybe there is a bit of that fairness, and they're just trying to look at this. It is glad that you intervene. You show intent before it happens, instead of coming to act as if you're investigating later. I think for me, it's a welcome move, and it's a warning shot that, yes, we are headed the right direction. Thank you. Let's meet tomorrow. Welcome, guys, to The Bold. And to me, I have a gentleman here. He's been looking for me for quite some time, and I decided to just bring him here in studio. He's going to give us his story on what exactly he's going through, and so that we can see how we can always come in. So maybe you can start with your name. Or what is your name?
My name is Stephen Otieno.
Stephen Otieno.
Yes.
Okay. Stephen, welcome, guys, to The Bold. And to me, I have a gentleman here. He's been looking for me for quite some time, and I decided to just bring him here in studio. He's going to give us his story on what exactly he's going through, and so that we can see how we can always come in. So maybe you can start with your name.
After she gave birth, my name is Steven Oduor. Mtoto alikuwa nursery. After 5 days.
Stephen,
so after 5
you
days
told
from
me
nursery,
that
I went back home.
your wife has a challenge. It's not somebody
were just
someone detained in the
things were
hospital.
well.
Okay.
Yeah. After
can you take us
few
through what
weeks,
exactly happened?
then my wife got complications.
Okay,
This
started
started after
bleed.
my wife gave birth mysteriously at Mtaani hospital. I was shocked. Ran out to call the doctor. 20th February.
The doctor told me to bring
After she gave birth,
Wapi unaishi wapi?
mtoto alikuwa anaishi Dandora. After 5 days, so daktari alijaribu we went back akashindwa. The lady was seriously bleeding. Things were well. Kaniambia nitafute after some few weeks to rush. Then my wife got complications. Akafanya hivyo tukafika Kenyatta. Seriously nilifika Kenyatta and I was shocked. Mama alikuwa admitted to call the doctor. From hapo the doctor told me to bring.
Alikuwa admitted sasa Kenyatta. Alikuwa wapi unaishi wapi? Na wakati alikuwa admitted the child now what but the child
okay by the time
but this is the child and this is your baby
and
ni boy
mgonjwa wa Kenyatta.
Even my
nikafanya hivyo tukafika Kenyatta.
So
wakati
now where are you from?
Mama alikuwa okay, right now I'm from Kenyatta hospital. Nilipeleka mtoto kunyonya.
Alikuwa admitted sasa
alikuwa admitted ananyonya.
Wakati alikuwa admitted unampeleka child now what are the child in the morning ama unafanya
no by the time
but this is the child and this is your baby ni boy then okay sasa sasa hiyo kitoka ataenda tu mnalala kote
sasa hivi kitoka naenda kwa nyumba
born in February
so nikiwa pale kwa nyumba
now where are you from?
Okay, right now I'm from Kenyatta hospital. Ningepeleka mtoto kunyonya and that is how I always do it. Nampeleka ananyonya.
Really impressed me. Unampeleka kila siku? How about the child? Alikuwa sawa the morning ama unakana ile whole day?
Okay, mtoto akiwa nampeleka tulikuwa tunatoka pamoja evening. Mtoto since alikuwa ile amniotic.
Then okay, sasa hiyo kitoka ataenda tu mnalala.
So sasa mtoto amekuwa na shida hiyo ya kungorota. So nikiwa pale kwa nyumba kama anafungana hewa hivi. So the doctors gave me some medication ongeza ya kudrop kwa mapua wakati anatoa ile sauti. So hiyo ndo nimekuwa nikitumia.
Really impressed me.
At times nasikia anatoa.
How about the child? Alikuwa sawa hata ukitoka sasa.
Okay, mtoto akiwa
what did the doctors in Kenyatta say was the
mwani? Mtoto since Kenyatta huyo ile amniotic fluid mama wakati chaza kuna so vile mtoto amekuwa na shida hiyo ya kungorota anangorota ni kama anafungana hewa alienda hata wakati so doctors gave me some medicine alizano ile ya kudrop kwa mapua wakati anatoa hiyo sauti
anafaa show
hiyo ndo nimekuwa nikitumia at times nasikia
okay so that was what was bringing the complication about the bleeding what did the doctors in Kenyatta say? I was told this, and
doctors in Kenyatta
I really got touched by his story, Stephen's story. You know, when he was telling me you were in Kenyatta, I was like, okay, what's going on? So it's been there for how many days?
Since the second.
The bill is?
The bill is 8.
Anafaa show me. You may not understand. But then, now that you take every evening, okay, so that was what was bringing the complication about the bleeding. Guys, I was told this, and I really got touched by his story, Stephen's story. You know, when he was telling me you were in Kenyatta, and I was like, okay, what's going on? So it's been there for how many days?
Since the second.
The bill is? Oh, so your work is kuendesha boda?
Yes.
So because of this, now that you take every evening, when do you go to work now? Do you even go to work now?
No. Okay.
So should get
about my work.
What is the terms of the loan? How much do you pay to get a loan so that you can get a loan?
So for now nilikuwa na hii shida loan walikipangisha nilibidi tu iendelee kufanya kwa saa hii deposit ni 25,000 so mwenyewe
so if you get 25,000 you go so what normally your work is given kuendesha boda then so because of this is the rest installment which you can manage.
I can manage that 500,000
so you get unapata endesha around what is the terms of the loan? How much do you pay to get? Guys, I brought Stephen here because I wanted us to get feel of this story, and this is one we can do this. We've always done this. This is 80,000. Today's so if you get 25,000, today's date, you go and give yourself and given a motorbike on Friday. Then so let's try. Let's do the rest in 50 shillings, which you can manage. I've decided not to. I'm going to share the number. Nobody's number because of disturbance, but I am also asking those who can guys. I brought Stephen here because I wanted us to directly connect you with this is one we can, so that we can do this. We've always done this. This is 80,000. So Mama Meka, today's date last 2 weeks. Today's date 14. If you give yourself 1 week, Friday. Yeah, so let's try. Let's do a 50 shillings challenge. I've decided not to. I'm going to share the number. It's really nobody's number because of a bit of that disturbance. But I am also believe that as those who can be willing to reach out to me, the number is there. I'll directly connect you with him so that whichever God has blessed you with, at least I talk. So Mama Meka hospitally for the last 2 weeks. Okay. I know you guys are young couples, huh? Wow. Thank you, and may God bless you for being a father to this child. I know it's really touching. It's really touching the heart, and I believe that as Bold family, this will come to an end. I know we will find a way. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Sawa. Asante. Aya.